Hi, it's me again with Corel tips and tricks. Two different patterns. This one has a square around it. This one made differently. The hardest part to make is this right here. So let's take an ellipse, and I'm not going to contour it. I'm going to hold down. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and then I'm going to hold down the Shift. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make this line. I normally work in points, but I'm going to make it a ½ inch. Now I'm going to go to object and convert the outline to an object. That way I have a ½ inch line. Now I need to go to object and break the curve apart. So we have two objects on layer one. Now they might be made differently. So we're going to take the shape tool, and you can see this arrow is going to the right. This arrow is going to the left. So we're going to take this one and nudge it out of the way. We're going to take the shape tool and select all the nodes. Well, I'm going to right click the mouse and I'm going to reverse the subpath. Now the arrows are going on the two circles are going to go the same direction. Now I'm going to select it all. Got two objects selected. I'm going to go to Effect and Blend, and I'm going to blend just one time. I don't know why that's doing that. Well, you know what? If that happens, let's do this. Let's make this thing. Let's select it and make this thing 5 inches. So this one, we're going to make it 4 inches. Okay, so now we got a 5 and a 4. So we're going to draw another line or another ellipse, and we're going to make it 4.5. Now I'm going to hit P and put them all in the center of the page, and that put that ring right in the center where I wanted it. I'm going to use that center ring here in just a second. I'm going to hit the plus key while holding down the control button. I'm going to move it over. Then I'm going to draw another, I'm going to get a 3-point curve line. I'm going to go from like right there to that edge. And I don't have to be perfect, because if it doesn't work out, and then I'm going to hold down the control button to get a kind of a perfect arc. And I want it like going right through the middle of that line on the left. I'm not really concerned about the line on the right. So I'm going to group this together, Control G, and then I'm going to hit P. And then to make those things perfect, I'm going to hit a line and get a 2-point line. And then I'm going to hit P. And what I'm going to do is just delete this one. And delete that. So I'm going to go here now. This is grabbing just this line. And I'm going to make this line a ½ inch line. Whoop. I must have kind of welded it together. Let me go up to Object, ungroup it. I don't know why it grouped together. Then I can make this line a ½ inch line. And I'm going to go to Object, convert the outline to an object, and I can left click, right click. So that's what I wanted. I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate while holding down the Control key. I'm going to mirror that over. That way these two things are perfect. Now I'm going to get rid of that center line on both of them. I'm going to try to just weld them. Now that's fine. You could do it with the circles or without. If I select it all, I'm going to do it with the circles, and they're not grouped. So I'm going to group the inner circle and move it down twice, move that down twice. And then I'm going to weld this, and then I'm going to move these back up. And then I'll go ahead and take the Smart Fill tool and kind of fill that in. And now I have a perfect shape. It's way too big, but that's fine. Now, I'm going to make this one first. I'm going to hold down the control button and draw a square. I'm going to round off the corners with this locked so they'll all round off the same. I just want it a little bit rounded. We'll zoom in here so you can see. Maybe not enough, so we'll go a little bit more. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to hit P to make sure it's in the center of the page. I'm going to Control D, and I'm going to rotate it 45 degrees. And then I'm going to grab both of them. I'm going to go to object and convert the outline to an object. And then I'm going to right click, but I'm going to make it a 1/2 inch line. And then I can go up here, I can left click, select it all. Okay, maybe I didn't convert them to an object. Convert them to an object, and then left click, right click. And I'm going to go ahead and weld these, and I get that right there. We're going to color it in a minute anyway. I'm going to hit P to make sure it's still in the center of the page. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle, a square, holding down the control button to make it square. I'm going to leave it square. I'm going to go ahead and make it a 1/2 inch line. And I'm going to go ahead and go up to object, convert the outline to an object. I'm going to left click, right click. And then I'm going to draw a 2-point line, holding down the control button. I'm going to hit P. I'm going to I hit Control F. Control D to duplicate. And I'm going to mirror or rotate it 45 degrees. Well, 90 degrees. And then I'm going to grab the other line with the pick tool, holding down the shift key, and I'm going to make those lines a 1/2 inch. I'm going to go up to object and convert the outline to an object. I'm going to left click, right click. Now we have to do a little bit of cutting just because I don't think it'll weld with all the stuff I've got going on. But I just want those lines to be continuous through here. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key, cut that and that. I'm going to hold down the Alt key. The Alt key helps you make a straight line, or at least make your hand movement semi-straight, because I want that to be continuous. Now I want it to stop right there. So I'm going to just take my virtual segment delete key and just delete. You know what I could do? Instead of doing all that deleting, let's do this right here. And that stops the line from going any further. Now we could delete this and delete these lines, because that's what we want. Now I can left click, right click, and move it back, and see this way those lines are right where I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and try to weld them and see if I can get rid of that. I'm going to select it all and go weld, and it worked perfectly. Now we need to move this in. And I'm going to rotate it at a 45-degree angle. And here's a pretty good trick I've just started doing recently. I'm going to hold down the shift key and make it smaller. And I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. And then I'm going to shift select my box. And I'm going to hit T and put it to the top. And then I'm going to, while it's still selected, I'm going to hit L and it put it right there on that line. Now my lines have changed where these were 1/2 inch. So you could leave it there, but you could also change your nudge factor to like 0.25, and let's click it down one time and over, down one time and over, down one time and over, down one time and over. That way it's kind of in the middle of that box. I can Control D, alternate C to get it to rotate from the center. Now it's already at 45 degrees. And if you're not good at math, you can go plus 90 degrees and then Control D, Control D. And then all you have to do is fill in that right there. Now I could have made that part smaller or bigger. Maybe it would have stood out. And you know, before I do that, I'm gonna just kind of show you, this should be a 1/2 inch line, but I might have increased it. See, it's a 1/2 inch line. So I don't want that line to be double. So what we're going to do is take the Smart Fill tool right now, fill that in. I'm going to select it all, and I'm going to take away the outline by left clicking. So I won't have, that was the fill. I'm going to right click so I won't have an outline. Now I'm going to take the whole thing and make it, let's make it 4 inches. And I should really make those inner parts a little bit bigger, but we got it at 4 inches. But if we hit the 4 inch now and duplicate it, that line in the middle is going to be too thick. So what you can do is make it, if you remember, it's a ½ inch. No, that didn't make sense if it's a ½ inch. What was it? ½ inch thick? Yeah, see, I reduced it, so it's really just, so what I'm going to do to make a really good measurement is I'm going to left click, right click, and I'm going to measure that again. Remember, we made it smaller, so our line is not as thick. And I'm going to go from here, you know, it'd be better to go from here, then hold down the control button and have it stop. So I want a great measurement, so I'm going to go put a couple of zeros. So it's 1.244. So now I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to go, let me go ahead and fill this in with blue. Wrong blue again. I'm working with somebody else's file. You know what, I'll just make these other ones. No, I want it. You know what, I'm just going to change color and make it burnt orange. And then I can select all these and make them burnt orange. Now, if you remember, we had 4 inches across here. Well, we need 4 inches minus 1.244. That didn't make any sense. I can't remember what the measurement was. Let's see if we can get it close without, it's a lot better to do it with lines. And then we added, let's just add 1 decimal. So it's 1.24. So we're going to make it 4 inches minus 1.24. And we get 2.76. So then we can hit the plus key, and now well, that didn't work. That's 4 inches. 4 inches minus 0.124. That's what I did. So it's 3.7, 3.86. And then when I move that over, that line is the same thickness in the center. I don't really like this one, but it'll work. You'll get the idea. One more time. Yeah, the line we created is, you know what? Let's just make it better. Let's take all these away. Take this away. Take this away and this away. Let's go ahead and just make this line, these lines better. I'm going to go ahead and hit P or G to put it in the center of the page, and then hit P, because that way I can rotate if I make a new one. So I'm going to get on here, and I'm going to go up to Object, ungroup all, take this one. And really the easiest way to do it would be to left click, right click, go up to Effects and Contour. We're going to contour the outside. That's too much. 0.05, half of that. That looks a lot better. Go up to Object, break the contour apart. Well, I've got something right there. It's a ghost. And you know, this would look pretty cool now that we've done that. Let's take that same orange and do the outside and these. Take away the outline by left clicking, no outline. Let's just take these away. That'll look really good. And for some reason, that orange looks brighter orange than my other one. You know, I'm using somebody else's file. So let me make that the same orange. Take away the outline. Now we can take this one, and let's go ahead and group it together. Control D, alternate C, and rotate it 90 degrees. Control D, Control D. Now group that together. We should still have the same nudge. So I'm going to hit plus on the keyboard and do that. Plus on the keyboard and go downwardly. And one more. I always like making a square. Now for some reason that orange just looks, that orange looks like a different color, but maybe it's just because it's thicker. And the best way to do something like this, to really show it off, see, there's something right here. I'm going to make it all yellow, take away the outline, and put a black box around it. That way, on your computer, when you're watching this video, it'll really stand out. Go up to Object Order, back opaque. That looks pretty good. Now, I was going to do the other one, but since I spent so much time, I'm going to make a part 2 and do it like this. So watch out for, wait for part 2, and hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.